I'm George Pennington, your occasional host with HCEC-TV for Issues and Insights. And today we have Professor Tommy Crane.
I don't know about that.
Yes, we do. It's Professor Tommy Crane. And Tommy, before we get into fire safety and summer safety in general, give us just a little bit about your background, if you would. You don't have to give me your ACT scores unless you want to brag or something, okay?
No, I don't have much to brag about.
Oh, I don't know. And give us a little bit about your background and who you work with and what you do in the community.
We were talking before the show. I graduated from Central Hardin in '92.
Class of '92,
Class
right?
of '92,
okay,
yeah.
got it.
So, and I've been a Hardin County resident the entire time. Grew up in the Glendale area, actually downtown. So, and of course, most people know the Whistle Stop when you say Glendale. So
Whistle Stop was a going concern when you were there?
Oh, it was pretty busy then. Yeah,
Gotcha.
It was really busy. But with the COVID stuff, it's been kind of slow in a lot of those places now. But then I joined the volunteer department in '92, right after high school.
The Glendale?
Mm-hmm, Glendale.
Glendale one? Okay.
Then the opportunity came about in 2006 to join the Radcliffe Fire Department as a career firefighter.
Okay.
And the actual, all of us there are firefighters, but the fire marshal job came open to do fire inspections, fire prevention, investigate fires and stuff like that. So I joined there. And,
so when did you take that position?
That was October 2006.
That was the position you
right,
took? Okay,
yes, yep,
I got you.
Yeah, so,
okay, got you.
So it came open. They were hiring specifically for that. So, and ever since, it's been a really good journey. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy getting out and talking to the public. Trying to educate them. That's what we try to when we come to shows like this and get on the radio, put things in the newspaper. We just our goal is through prevention and safety that hopefully people, as much as I like to be in the fire truck with the lights and siren going, hopefully they don't have to see us that much, because
Yes.
if we're busy, it means other people are having a bad day, and we don't want that. We want, so we try to do as much prevention work as possible through the inspection programs and through the fire prevention, going to the schools in the fall. I know we've talked the last fall we talked about fire prevention because October's
That's right.
Fire
Okay.
Safety Month.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the kinds of things. But what we try to get out to people is that fire safety is a year-round thing. It's
Sure.
not it's not just in the winter when you have heating devices. It's not just during the summer with fireworks, but it can be indoor, outdoor. It's just a myriad of things. And in the fire service now too, we don't just respond to just fires. The fire department has become we get called for a lot of things. We get called for hazmat. We get called for
Okay, explain
medical.
hazmat, if you would.
There's so many things that we use in industry today and in farming. Chemicals that when they're used for their purpose, they're good. But sometimes during the transportation or sometimes during somewhere in that process, something happens, it may
Okay.
leak. So our job is to try to mitigate that and to keep it safe so they can clean it up and do a rescue if necessary if somebody's
Okay.
trapped.
Okay.
So that's it. Vehicle accidents, we have that's a large part of vehicle and medical. Vehicle accidents and medical runs are a large part of the fire service response now.
Okay.
We assist Hardin County EMS. Because a lot of times, they're busy. So, we can be the first ones there
Okay.
for that rapid response. And then we work with them. Auto accidents, the streets are busy nowadays.
Yes.
I mean, there's, everybody has a car, It's not like it was in the old days where family may have one car.
May have one.
Yeah, so you have one car and so that's, it's really busy nowadays and people just get busy and then they're driving. Your car has so many things in it now, so it becomes,
Gotcha. So you're called out to a fair amount of accidents, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about hazmat kind of things? Will that happen like once a year, twice a year?
Fortunately, those, what we would consider like a specialized incident, those kinds of things are pretty low.
Kind of rare?
Yeah, so
They don't happen that often?
No. So,
Okay.
So that's a good thing.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
And there's a lot of safety measures in place. We do different types of specialized rescue, like we even done water rescues.
Okay.
We've even gone so far as we've done animal rescues for different
Have
things.
you?
So yeah.
I wondered about that. Like
we work
like the kitten in the tree kind of scenario, or
we've been called to
that.
that. We don't go lights and siren to that, but we have
Yes.
gone to different animals that have been that are house pets that have made it outside, and now they're they'll call us and things like that. So so there's just a lot of things that we do that keep us busy. So
Yeah. Now, put your name. I chatted with you last fall,
Yes.
right? And typed your name in. Came up with the Quixie interview. So do you typically go around to different radio stations too and do interviews?
Yes, we try to use every mode of media that we can. We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
We've got a couple people that keep that up to date. We try to get on the local radio stations, Quixie, Wolf, Big Cat, Wacky, and they're very gracious to us to allow us time to talk about fire safety and things like that. And then we also we try to put things in the paper periodically,
Okay.
and try to remind people, especially when the different seasons. And then of course we also try to come to HCEC-TV and
Sure.
get the word out. So
All right. I guess the last week was the summer solstice. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So we're technically in summer now. So instead of our fall thing, there are a lot of things going on this summer, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us what we need to know, Coach Tom.
Well, one of the things with the COVID-19, a lot of people are doing things with their family more at home,
Yes.
or on a local setting. So there's just things we want to remind people. When the weather starts getting warmer, when I walk around my neighborhood, we start smelling people grilling outside. So
Yes.
that's a big one. We remind people that with propane and charcoal to always use them outdoors. Don't use them in the garage or in the carport or anything like that. We tell you, try to keep it about 10 feet away from your house.
Okay.
And any overhangs, tree branches, that kind of stuff, because you want to remember that you have that radiant heat.
Okay.
Plus you have an open flame, so if it gets knocked over or something happens, you've got an open flame that could quickly spread. The other thing we remind people, is that now apartment buildings, that you can't have them on the balconies.
Okay.
So that's something we try to remind people, and a lot of apartment owners and managers are good about letting people know up front before they move in, sign the lease. Hey, this is something you can't have.
Okay.
The important thing there is remember a lot of times those balconies some of them are covered. The other thing is remember that if you have a fire there in your apartment building, it's not just your family. You're looking at another 3 families, another 8 families or more. So you could affect the whole that whole building if it's something happens. So it's important to remember that, and that's why now some of those apartment buildings will allow you alternative places to store your grills, like maybe a storage shed, or they may even have a grill built into the in the back area.
Yes, a common area.
Right.
Do many apartments have sprinkler systems?
It goes by size.
Okay.
Most of the time, once you get over a certain number of apartments or you get over a certain number of floors,
Gotcha.
then the sprinkler systems
It's required by code. Is that right?
Yes. So, so that's something that.
But most of the apartments in E-Town, probably E-Town, all of Hardin County, might not have them.
Most not, because they usually build them just right under that number.
I got you.
Usually you have, right.
Because it's an expense, I guess.
Right. It is. It's a good safety feature, but it does add to the expense. And in the maintenance, you do have to maintain it.
Okay.
So that's something people.
And then do you have to test it or something?
There are, what they have to do is it has to get tested, along with if it has a fire alarm system, it has to get tested. And now, fire alarm system is not just the ones in the individual apartment.
Okay.
We're talking about, like, if it has a system, it will be all the common areas too. Or if it's hooked to the sprinkler, then when the sprinkler flows water, it'll set off the alarm as well.
Okay, gotcha.
So they do have to be tested once a year by someone who is certified through the state. So make sure they're operating.
Gotcha.
So with grills, if you're in a duplex or a single family dwelling, then you can do those. You just want to remember the safety. Like you said, you want to make sure that you keep it at least 10 feet away.
Okay.
I've seen houses where people have melted their siding, their vinyl siding, because it gets too hot. You know, they don't think about that. Remember too is, just general maintenance of your grill. Keep it clean from grease, build up. Make sure that if you've got it stored outside, if you don't put a cover on it, that, as it starts to age, it doesn't get too wobbly and things like that. The propane tank is in good shape.
Okay.
Your hoses, your connections, if it's, propane, you can do a simple soap and water solution.
Gotcha.
And spray it. Look for those bubbles, the leaks. Make sure that, if you're charcoal, make sure you're using, just charcoal lighter fluid, nothing gas or anything extra. And once you have the fire started, don't think, well, it's not burning fast enough. Don't squirt any more on there, because, you could have a little flamethrower in your hand at that point. So that's a dangerous thing. Keeping the area safe. Just like in the kitchen, we talk about keeping a kid-free zone around the stove. Same way with your grill. Keep kids and pets away from your grill.
Okay.
Not just while you're grilling, but after, because you're going to have, it's going to be hot for a while. Whether it's propane or not, it just has to naturally air cool. So
some of those grills get pretty darn hot.
They do,
too, don't they?
Yes, they're
It can get up to, 900 degrees in heart.
I'd say more than that.
Yeah.
You have those coals in there, but yeah, they can get pretty warm, and then like you said, being an all metal construction, you've got that quick, easy burns. So make sure you keep kids away, especially with the ability of some of the smaller ones to be able to get toppled over.
Gotcha.
So then you have the danger there. Try to keep make sure that you let the coals cool if you're using charcoal before you dispose of them, and let them cool completely. The outside ones may be cool, but if you dig around, the inside may still be really hot.
Gotcha.
So you don't want to start a fire there.
Before we get to fireworks, how about open fires? Is that regulated? Like, would E-Town and Radcliffe have their own fire rules?
There is. Some of it is regulated by the cities and city ordinances. There's also a general open fire safety that is regulated by the state. Okay. There are different, in the drier seasons, there are regulations of how close you can be, and there are also, what you can burn. Basically, just cut wood that you've cut to burn, in a fire pit or a small fire ring. That's about it. That's really all the state lets you, because of EPA. No plastics, anything like that. When you are open burning, it's we tell you there again, try to keep that fire pit 10, 15 feet away from your house and any overhangs.
Go toppers.
So try to keep same rules with kind of like with a grill. You are like in Radcliffe, you are allowed to have a fire pit or whether it's one that you've made or one that you've bought and assembled. Just make sure that you follow safety rules, and just keep it away from your home and any other outbuildings.
If we have 3-4 weeks of little or no rain, are there no fire periods?
We generally follow the state's guidelines on that. We let the forestry department kind of start setting.
Can they do it county by county according to need, or how does that work?
They can, and usually what the counties will do is they'll follow, like Judge Berry he'll follow what the state says before he'll issue a red flag and then say, there's no burning right now, and then the cities follow after that.
Okay, thanks. All right. So I've been hearing some little pops lately, and it's not just my joints as I'm walking around the house. I hear those too, but they don't quite resonate like I'm hearing. So we're in fireworks season, aren't we?
Absolutely. It's that time of year we celebrate our nation's birthday, and we want people to have a good time and enjoy their fireworks. Preferably, letting a professional, do that. Go to a professional display. Unfortunately, with COVID, we know some of those have been canceled or postponed. Yes. So with that, people are more apt to do personal fireworks, which that's fine. Just make sure that you use some safety and even a little bit of common sense. There are some rules. Make sure that you when you purchase your fireworks, that it is the adults who are doing the lighting of the fuses. That's something that we strongly recommend. the risk of fireworks injury is highest for children ages 5 to 14, and that's every year there are kids who wind up in the emergency room because of burns and things like that. So the other thing is, to buy the packaged fireworks, don't try to alter them. Don't try to do the here, hold my beer kind of thing. Yeah. Follow the instructions, and use ones, that are in good condition. Make sure you know the local laws and ordinances. E-Town and Radcliffe both have ordinances about when there's actually a curfew, a time frame when you can actually burn.
Is it like a week before to a week after, or 2 days before or after? What?
I'm not sure of the complete details. I know that Radcliffe's is like the weekend before, and there's a time frame. There's and then same, the weekend of 4th of July, that weekend. It is on both of their websites where you can quickly pull that up, and the details are given, the times and stuff. So make sure that you know those times, your local ordinances. And what that was when the state allowed consumer fireworks to be sold, they also allowed in the law that cities and counties could make their own ordinances. Where some counties and cities won't allow you to shoot them off at all.
Gotcha.
So they're allowed to do that. Check your surroundings. You have to be at least 200 feet from structures, vehicles, groups of people.
Wow. Okay.
And that includes wooded areas as well.
Right.
They don't say that in the law, but that's kind of that common sense. Let's not do it right next to the big patch of woods.
Yeah, that's right.
So make sure that you do that. Try to have a method of extinguishment. Maybe a bucket of water, or possibly a fire, or not a fire hose, but a garden hose, something there around close to you. And then fireworks safety for children. And I remember when I was little, we used to run around with sparklers barefoot. Run around, and it was the cool thing.
Everybody did.
But now that I'm older, and with my own kids and stuff, it's not really the best idea, because the tip of a sparkler is 1,200 degrees. To put that in perspective, wood will burn at 575 degrees, and glass will melt at 900 degrees. So 1,200 degrees.
Good gracious.
So you have like I said, we used to run around and
you write your name.
Yep. So
and everything.
Yes. So but that's something we don't recommend anymore. After we've enough people have been injured that's not the best idea there. So.
No. Or if you write your name, just write Jim or something like that.
There you go. Yeah.
Don't
keep
write.
It short.
Yeah.
So those are some things to remember with fireworks.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, but you definitely hear them.
Yes.
And they're everywhere. It seems like over the last 20, 30 years, the prices have come down as to where, they still cost, but you're kind of used to one display here and one display in this neighborhood and one display here.
Right.
So.
And sometimes I know that some neighborhoods will get together and pool money and have a display and keep it just for the neighborhood. So, but like I said, the main thing is check with your local ordinances and just remember those safety rules about distances and stuff.
Now I believe E-Town over there at the EC3 area on University Drive, West Banco and EC3. Are going to do the fireworks over there. I believe.
I've heard that. I've heard that on the radio that they're going to do a display. So yes. So.
And that sits reasonably high. The college, if they do it by the college, it's a reasonably high area. Does Radcliffe have fireworks planned, or what's your understanding?
They do, but I'm not sure of the date.
Okay, gotcha.
But the city is planning on doing that.
Okay,
so from what I understand, they are planning on hosting.
Where do they usually?
It's usually off of West Lincoln Trail. And
sure.
my understanding is they're going to set it up so that people can be on West Lincoln Trail. I don't know all the details, but the fire chief and I were talking a few days ago, and there is a plan to do that and have it set up so people can still enjoy the fireworks.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Now, you'll be on the fire, say it.
Like duty, on call?
Yeah, the Radcliffe Fire Department, yeah.
Right. Yes.
You might edit all that.
They'll always, whatever crew is on duty, there'll be at least one truck will be there. A lot of times the both stations will be there. But yeah, as long as, if they're doing fireworks, we've got a crew right there at the location.
I think so. Okay, yeah, thank you. So what next can we kind of, what's some potential problems?
Well,
in the summer?
one of them is children in hot cars.
Okay.
That's one that.
How do they fit in a little hot car?
Yeah.
How do they do that?
A little Hot Wheels car.
How do
little
they fit in
Matchbox.
one of those?
You just have to squeeze, fold up really small.
Yeah.
But that's something that really has come to our attention through the past few years. People have just been busy. They get to going and they get distracted, and we talk about distracted driving, and it becomes an issue with children being left in cars. So what it is that they've been tracking that since 1998. There's been some serious, and of course, if you think about it, that's when cell phones really started to become easily accessible to most of the population, and people just have busy lifestyles now. The numbers are what is concerning, because in 2019 there were 52 children that died in hot cars.
Is that national statistics?
That's national.
National.
Yes. And 2018 was actually the worst on record with 53.
53.
So in that 20-year
And
period.
Kentucky still has.
We still have some,
one or two or something.
Yeah,
occasionally?
and it doesn't really. There's not even one specific state that they do have highlighted which states have had the most,
Gotcha.
but it's just everywhere. Just busy lifestyles.
And it could get pretty darn hot in 2, 3, 4 minutes inside a car,
Absolutely.
can't it?
In what I've read is that car temperatures can rise 19 degrees in about 10 minutes. And that's regardless of whether you crack the windows or not. So 19 degrees in 10 minutes on a good sunny day, especially a day like today. It's humid. It's real sunny outside.
Yes.
So just and even it doesn't even have to be hot. If you've got a good sunny day, a 60-degree day, it can get about 110 degrees in a car.
Good gracious.
So
Okay.
it's because it's just kind of like an oven. You're in a metal and glass box. So it traps that heat in there. Just some things we try to remind people, that just if you've got, maybe you're not the one that normally takes the child to daycare, or maybe you're running late that morning.
Yes.
There's some things you can do. You can set a reminder on your phone. Your phone. There's so many different ways to set a reminder, an alarm. There are actually a couple apps I was researching. There's a couple apps that will do reminders for you. So that's an option. Everybody has apps on their phone now. Have someone call or text you. Maybe your spouse. Maybe the daycare.
Gotcha.
To call you. When little Johnny should have been here at 8:30, and it's 8:45. So just a reminder. Hey, check and see. Or maybe you didn't bring him today. Maybe he was sick. You can put a stuffed animal in the car seat when the child is not there.
Gotcha.
And then when you put the child in the car seat, put the stuffed animal up front, so you have a visual reminder that hey, this stuffed animal is usually in the back.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
you can do you can put your briefcase or maybe you've got to have a badge to check into the building, or your lunchbox. You can put it in the back seat area so that you have to physically open the door and see that the child is there. One thing to remember is a rear-facing car seat. You can't tell, a lot of times if the child is there, depending on where it is.
Yes.
So it always, whereas forward-facing, you can see that the child is there a lot easier in the rearview mirror. Like I said, maybe have somebody call you or check. We remind people, to look before you lock. Just turn around and look in your car. Just take a quick look. Do you see anything? Do you see the child sitting there, or anything out of the ordinary? Or in my case, just the other day, I locked my keys in the car, and as soon as I closed the door, I was like, I don't have my key. So, and I looked, and it was in the seat. So look before you lock. But it's really humbling.
Did you call the fire department?
Actually, it was in the fire department parking lot. So it's very humbling when you have to have your coworkers come and help you get into your car.
Yeah, it is.
So it's a very humbling experience. Make sure that when you've got the cars parked, in your driveway, at home, keep the vehicles locked at all times.
Okay.
So that kids can't open the doors. Ask your neighbors, visitors, especially if you have a neighbor that the kids may go over and visit. Ask them to do the same. Never leave the car keys within reach of the kids. With key fobs, with some of the new car keys, you don't even have to put the key in the lock. You just have the key with you, and you can get right in the car. So that's something to remember with that. teach children if they do get stuck in the car to honk the horn, do something to get your attention. And if a child is missing, it's a small child, you immediately check the inside of the vehicles, the trunks, anywhere where that child could possibly be. If you see a child alone in a vehicle, and like say a parking lot, get involved. There are laws protecting you. If it is a sincere, act of trying to help that child, yes, there are laws that will protect you, from if you have to break a window or something. So now make sure that, there have been instances where people have called and there was actually a teenager and they were laying back in the seat, yes, and they were listening to their iPod or iPhone. And so make sure that the child is left alone. So that is something to remember. But definitely if the child looks like they're hot and they're in any kind of distress or they're not responding and they are alone and that car is unattended, then definitely do what you can. Call 911 and try to get them out of there immediately.
Okay. And Coach Tommy, we've got about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So any other summer safety items you wish to go through?
Well, I've got a long list, but we only have a certain amount of time.
We'll do it triple time. They're going to speed the tape up.
Okay,
so
is that what it is?
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just some other things like we talked about. We respond to different accidents, medical runs. Riding bicycles. Just remember wear a helmet. And I got reminded of this when my daughter was little. I had one of those little carts you hook up to your bike, and I was riding her around. I made sure she had a helmet, but a couple of my friends who were riding their bicycle, they reminded me that I didn't have a helmet.
You didn't have a helmet.
So they're like, well, what good does it do if you get hurt and you're laying on the side of the road and she's sitting there and can't do anything with her helmet on? So I quickly went out and purchased a helmet. So that was one of those things too. When you're growing up, we didn't used to wear helmets. No. So, but wear a helmet. Now I always do. Make sure it fits properly. Ride with the traffic. Remember, you are considered a vehicle. Wear bright clothing. I see sometimes people that have darker clothing, and that's hard to see in the shadows, even on a bright sunny day. Ride with others if you can. I see a lot of groups that there'll be several cyclists together, anywhere from 2 to 10. I've seen large groups of cyclists on a Saturday morning. If you're riding by yourself, I always make sure that my wife knows where my route is. Where am I riding to? What is my route, so that she understands if I don't come back in my normal amount of time, maybe something's wrong. And she knows where along that.
And if you have your phone with you, she can probably track you.
Right.
Possibly.
Right. So definitely make sure of that. Swimming. Watch kids when they're around water. And without being distracted. It only takes about a minute for a child to start drowning, especially a small child. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you are attentive when you're around the pool. Don't get distracted with smaller children. If older children are swimming, make sure they have a buddy, so that they're swimming together. So if one gets hurt or something happens, they can get help. Make sure if they have a life jacket, whether you're canoeing or kayaking on the lake or the river, make sure the life jacket fits. It's not going to slide up over. If it's too loose, so you don't just have a life jacket. Make sure that it doesn't slide up over their shoulders, because that's not going to do the job. Fences around pools, or at least if you've got the ones where you can take the ladder out of the pool, so less likely for a child to get in. Smaller pools, empty them. It doesn't take much water for a small child to drown in. So those are just some things to remember there. Know what to do. Drowning is usually actually silent. There's not a lot of splashing, yelling. Basically, they're trying to stay alive, trying to stay afloat.
And that kid in Louisville, 2 days ago,
was that
in the neighborhood pond?
I hadn't heard about that, but yeah. So definitely make sure, because it is usually very quiet. If you somebody wants to call the station, that's fine. There's 2 numbers, 270-351-1975 or 270-351-3221. My extension is 104, so it comes straight to mine.
Just text him. And Professor Tommy Crane here. So thank you for Issues and Insights.